My name is Xuan Pham, spelled as X-ray, uniform, Alpha, November. Last name is Papa, Hotel, Alpha, Mike. And I have an Americanized name. It's Xuan. It's like S like a Sierra, W like whiskey, A like Alpha, and like November. Because most of people, when they see my name, we start with the X. They kind of hesitate, to pronounce my name. So I Americanize, and I see the unfair thing is a lot of people can say Xerox and Exxon, but cannot pronounce my name. I flew the A-1 Skyraider in Vietnam during the war. It's the 4 years between 1970 to 1974. And I served in two corps, as a second corps and third corps, respectively. When I flew for second corps, I started with the 530 squadron in Pleiku Air Force Base. In that theater, I cover most of the close air support. Occasionally, you go through the cross the border and have some mission in Commando Hunter in Ho Chi Minh City, and some of SOG, Special Operation Group, for the Ranger and Green Beret, to cross the border. As the beginning, when I get back from the United States, at the end, very end of 1969, in the beginning, I remember vividly, the Christmas of 69, I come back to Vietnam, and most of the people serve at Highland, the Pleiku Air Force Base. I tell the truth, it's either they do not have the mentor, they don't have people influence, keep them in Bien Hoa, or somebody, make a mistake in their career with the Air Force. They put those people to the 530 at the Pleiku. I'm the different. My brother is considerably, he can influence to keep me in Bien Hoa. But I'm young, gung-ho when I get back. They give me a form to fill it out. One of the questions, where you want to serve? I say Pleiku. They say reason. I say, to have an opportunity to get away from family. And make a mistake. And I regret in the first night when I land in Pleiku with one friend of mine, is the classmate at Herbert Field, Ackland Air Force Base. I have two senior officer. It's a Major Thang, Thang. He's the training officer, of the 530 Squadron. And Captain Long, he live in Richmond right now. Eventually he's the major of the 530 Squadron. But at the time, I tell story is he and Major Thang come and pick me up, at the airport at 9 p.m. Drizzle, raining, light raining, but miserable in Pleiku. And nobody, I expect somebody would come and welcome two young pilots back, from the United States. Nobody. They just do me a favor and come and pick us up. And they leave my friend stand on the tarmac. And I say, how about him? Can you pick him up too? I say, yeah, that's okay. Come on, hop it in, the pickup truck. And they come back. I don't have the BOQ like a standard in the United States. They drop me into the room, just coincidence. Next room is the husband of the, I just get killed, the day, is the same day, in the afternoon. So his wife, it keep crying, and I cannot sleep the whole night. I tell you, just the first night, I went to desert. Okay, because terrible, terrible, environment, and out of my expectation. And that I start up with the 530. It's mostly function as a duty officer. It's about 2-3 weeks later, I've been checked out at the for combat, mission with Major Thang, and I start my flying career, with a 530 from there. Mm-hmm.
You told me early on that I believe it was Major Thang played a little trick on you on one of your first bombing missions.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you asked that question. We have a lot of memory, Major Thang is eventually, he became the hero of the South Vietnamese Air Force. It's make it short, the VNAF, because he's very heroic, action in the last mission in Pleiku, in Kontum, when he got shot down, and his wingman is the Major Hiệp. We call Hiệp VC because his last name and middle name abbreviation is VC. So we call, his name is Vũ Công Hiệp. So we call his nickname is the Hiệp VC. In our Air Force, in every Air Force, I believe, every pilot have a nickname. And most nickname is not a nice nickname. Like a Major Thang, his nickname in Thang Phunro. Phunro is the tribal. Local people is mountaineer, the mountain man. And he looked like he's resemble the mountain man. He tall, big, dark skin, and he's rough. So we nicknamed him the Thang Phunro. He's the one check me out, go back and check me out. It's the combat mission. He do the trick, to get the young pilot like me, to get attention. In the last pass, when we pull the cable and drop on the bomb, that is the procedure, for the last pass, to drop on the bomb, making sure on the bomb is off the wing. I'm so focused because the first mission in the area, so I'm so focused on the bombing, and I dived in, rolling hard, drop the bomb, pull it out, and say, number 2 is clean. And I didn't hear the answer, and I'm looking for him. He disappeared. I don't see him. And I'm young pilot, fly close formation. He intentionally put me in the close formation all the way to the target, then kicked me out for combat formation just about 1 minute or 30 seconds, before rolling hard. So he intentionally doing that. So I don't have time to check, the environment around me, the checkpoint and that kind of thing. I'm so focused. So when he pulled it up and I don't see him, and I've been, waiting, I hesitate to admit that I lost him. I waited at least, more than 1 minute. And I start talking the radio. I say, it's number 1, here's number 2. He said, what? What happened? I said, where are you? He said, you lost me? I said, yes, I don't see you. And he chewed me out, nothing left on my butt. Okay, he said, you lost the leader? How could I check you out of combat for in the operation if you lost a leader in the first mission? And then he said, okay, he start making correction for me. He said, start describe the environment around you. So I did, not difficult. I say something, I don't remember vividly, but I remember I say, okay, so on the left, the river, run from the left to the right. In the north, have a mountain, it's about 3,000 feet, something like that. And they say, okay. He start make correction. He say, listen to me. Make a left turn until I say you roll out. I did that. I say, level your wing. Keep going. Then it's about 5 minutes later, he say, make a right. keep going at that heading. He gave me the heading. And this flies from Kontum back to the Pleiku. It's not far away. It's about 15 minutes later. He said, look at the 12 o'clock. Do you see the Pleiku Air Force Base? I said, yes. And I'm sweat, until I see Pleiku Air Force Base. He said, go ahead and make a landing. I will see you on the ground. So I come to the ground. He chose me out for the second round, okay, because I lost the leader. I still don't know his trick until, a couple of days later, another friend, the Captain Long, his nickname is Long VD. It's an ugly nickname. He say, oh, Major Thang is do the trick on you. I say, how? What is kind of the trick? He say, after he dropped the bomb, he make a tight turn and he hide himself under your belly. That's why he correct you, turn left, turn right. We did it all the time, to make the young pilot, the new pilot get back, from the United States, get attention and kind of listen to us. So that is a memory I never forget. And I think about it, I say he got to pay back what he did to me. So it's a couple of months later, I flew with him in one mission. He have a belly tank, external fuel tank. And I think about revenge, what he did to me. So when he dropped the last bomb, he pulled up and I screamed on the radio. I said, oh my God, what did you do? He said, doing what? I said, you dropped the external tank. And, it become the rule or the, it's kind of precedent, if somebody dropped the external fuel tank, had to make a beer call for the whole squadron. So he know he don't have the salary, left that month for family because he had to make a beer call for the whole squadron. And he all the way back to Pleiku, he keep, mumble with himself on the radio. He said, I don't know why I make that stupid mistake. Until he landed, he climbed out, from the wing. And the first thing, he looked under the belly. The belly tank is still there. And Major Thang, he pointed out his revolver and he chased me. And I know it. I saw and I know him, how he react. So I ran away and we left, we get back to the squadron and we're laughing a lot because he thought he had to make a beer call, and eventually he found out, he better off because he haven't made a mistake. But that is a good memory I have with Major Thang. Still miss him today because he's a hero.
Can you tell me about his last mission a little bit?
Our last mission is a little bit confused from the beginning. Because Major Hip VC, again his nickname, he's supposed to fly number 2. Major Thang is the number 1 as a leader, flight leader. But Major Hip is in the process of the training, check out for the leader, to be a leader for ship. Formation leader, and Major Thang say, you will become a leader very soon. I'm the one check you out in near future. Why don't you take a lead? I fly number 2, you fly number 1. He changes his mind in the middle of the mission. When they light up number 1 for takeoff, he switched. Major Hip become number 1, he become number 2. That make a big confusion when the FAC report back. It say number 2 got shot down and crash at northwest of the Kontum. and they don't know, he's still alive or not. Everybody at home, in the squadron, thought that is Major Hip VC. But eventually, the confirmers say, no, that is Major Thang. When he got shot down, when both of them support one of the attack, the VC already infiltrate into Quantum, and they stay, in the church at Quantum, in order to hide themselves in the church with the civilian, and put the anti-aircraft machine gun on the tower of the church and shoot at Major Thang and Major Hip. Major Thang get hit, and Major Hip is say, number 2, you get hit. I see flame trail, trail you along the fuselage of the aircraft. And the sound of Major Hip is a little bit panicked when he sees the number 2 get serious shot down like that. And Major Thang, in the frequency, very calm, and say, doggone it, why you panic? I'm the one get shot. I'm not panic. Why you panic? Cover for me. I will go, outside of the Pleiku ejection on the bomb before I crash, because I don't want to eject the bomb inside the city. That's, his action is really make him become the hero, because everybody, including FAC, hear on the conversation on the radio frequency. So they really admire him, in the last minute. He's still thinking about the life of civilian on the ground, and his calmness, when he talked to Major Hip about why you panic when I'm the one gets shot, made him the hero.
He was a great mentor of yours, wasn't he?
Oh yes, that is another long story, because when I say on of this story, Major Long VD is still in town in Richmond. He's still alive, healthy, and he will be the witness, to agrees I tell the authentic story. When I come to Pleiku Air Force Base, Major Thang is a friend of my brother. He's the major in the airborne Red Beret. All of them are tough. They party together and that kind of thing. So, Major Thang right away in the first day picked me up, put me under his wing. Because he's not just the leader of a training officer of the 530, but he also disciplined officer of the wing, 72 wing. Ironically, he's the one very rowdy, very unruly, but he enforced the discipline of the wing. But because of his leadership, when he talked, all the young men listen. When he want to keep discipline, he just say one word. Well, when I arrived Pleiku in the first night, as I say from beginning, he's the one come pick me up. Major Thang is disciplined officer. I don't think they have that in U.S. Air Force. But in Pleiku, they need somebody keep on the young pilot, rebellion, rowdy pilot, in line. So Major Thang has been assigned as a discipline officer of the 72 wing by Colonel Barr, to do that. Ironically, he's the one very rowdy and very unruly, but he keep, discipline for the wing. He took me under his wing because he know my brother. My brother is the major in the airborne. Airborne Red Beret is the Vietnamese armed forces, is the very, very elite group. but they're rough. And when they party hard. So Major Thang know my brother through those kind of activity. And he took me, put under his wing. And what I'm saying here is authentic, because people is not involved into it. Maybe they think, it's not true. But when we was in Pleiku is a very special place for the A-1 Skyraider. It's like in our Air Force, Pleiku is a gulag. Gulag in Russia, you understand what I'm saying? Concentration camp. Now I exaggerate a little bit, but anyway, because the people, they make a mistake, or they don't have anybody mentor, sponsor them, so they end up at Pleiku. And Major Thang, under his wing, have Captain Long at the time, myself, another two senior first lieutenant, and Major Ha. He's a very young pilot, in the squadron, but he have a lot of flight time under his belt. But those 5-6 individuals become a troublemaker of the 530 squadron. I can say it's really like a Baba Black Sheep, in the movie, because we do some crazy thing and nobody think about it. For example, when we had enough drink at night, Major Thang, go to the front yard. He have, the plan with the frame, we grow food by ourselves in Pleiku. And he stick, the map of Saigon up. He hold a bamboo stick. And 4 or 5 of us sit right in front of him. And he point at the map. He say, Long, Captain Long, you're leader of flight number 1. Major Ha, you're the flight leader of flight number 2. You attack the President Palace from the west. You attack President Palace from the east. That kind of party and joke, when we have a good time, we crazy because military security is around. They will report it. Now, let me tell that story at the end. When, we never thought we involved into the historical story or activity at the time. And Major Long now can verify and let people know, what I tell now is the true story. When Cherokee to become a candidate of the presidential election in Vietnam versus, President Thiel, Cherokee is ready to make a move. If necessary, he make a coup d'etat. The group I'm talking about in Pleiku got the order from headquarters, report back to Thang in Saigon because involved into the drug, but bring the fly gear with them. Two things is contradiction to itself. If you make mistake, you involve into drug, you report back to the headquarters because of discipline. Why you have to bring, the fly gear with it? And we know, we're in the group, the Major Long share, with me and say, we're ready. We will steal the Skyraider from the detachment in Saigon if we got the order from General Key, to make a coup d'etat. They flew back and they flew to Saigon, and the whole week or 2 weeks. I forgot precisely. I will ask Major Long about this. How long he stay over there? Four of them, Major Ha, Major Thang, Captain Long, and Lieutenant Phúc. His name is Phuc. The name is, I had to pronounce carefully because, the name is ugly name if you misunderstand what I'm talking about. Anyway, four of them hang around Saigon for a week, ready to steal the aircraft. And eventually, they give them a jeep, the car. Every day, go into the club, have a free meal and everything. Somebody take care of them. But eventually, it's not materialized. Cherokee, admit that, he's not qualified, for the presidential election. And again, the story is not materialized. But talking about the group in Pleiku, I'm back in the group of Pleiku, led by Major Thang. We do the crazy thing, but every day we very focused on the mission. We always expose, to the harmway, and not just our group. I call unsubordinate group, or you call rowdy group, whatever you call. We very, playful, achievers. Is that the right word? To talking about, but the typical, Skyraider pilot, we always, we act, nonchalant, as if we are to challenge with the Grim Reaper every day, because, we exposed to the harmway. You're talking about every time you roll in hard, you see a lot of flash, or the red dot go toward you. Then, the anti-aircraft, machine gun, shoot around you. And every day you do at least, more than 10 times like that.
And you did this for how many years?
I myself to do this for 4 years. It's nothing compared with like a Major Long, Major Thang, or Bạch Diên Sơn is a squadron commander. They flew, at least 8 years before me. We flew day in, day out. We relax, our schedule of relax depend on the Uncle Ho. If he have a campaign, his forces have a campaign, then we curfew. Okay, if they relax, we relax. But most of the time, you don't believe that our Air Force is, we flew the same kind of aircraft, but our standard is different. For example, when the forklift is broken, we, the pilot, fly back, take off, the fly suit, make a knot around our belly, and put the shoulder to have the mechanic lift the bomb into the pylon, secure the bomb, and then, we fly it again. So the pilot is the same as the crew chief, to do, or maintenance guy, very, very enthusiastic. We in Pleiku, we don't have any entertainment. Pleiku and 530 Squadron have a totally different culture with the 518, 514 Skyraider Squadron in Biên Hòa, because I have an opportunity to serve on both squadron, so I see the difference. At Biên Hòa Air Force Base, too close to Saigon, everybody, after they fly, they go back to their family. In Pleiku, we don't have family. Our family in Saigon or another city, we don't want to bring the relative to play cool because it's to expose them to the very dangerous, incoming at nighttime, something like that. It's not secure. The whole town is a military town. It's like in Virginia, Virginia Beach, a military town. Play cool. Quantum is the same thing. Ranger, airborne, when you go downtown, you see on a military man in there. But go back, it's different culture, as I say, because the location of it. Okay. Secondly, talking about flying, everybody flying the play cool, especially the OLA, Operation Location Alpha Alpha. Now they declassify, so I have a opportunity to know a little bit through Don, in Tennessee Air Museum. In Pleiku Air Force Base, is the runway very small. I forgot how wide it is, but it's about a half width of the Bien Hoa. Don't talk about Phu Quoc or Da Nang. It's a huge, big, like a B-52 runway. And Pleiku, very narrow. It's black. It's not white. With the vision, you have a black runway different than the white runway. For every time you take off, it's like the takeoff on the aircraft carrier. Because at the end of the runway, suddenly it dropped and it kind of shallow valley over there. Everybody on 530 will verify this, what I tell Drew. In the squadron, they have 185. The tail number is 215. Okay. That one the engine is not right. When you carry is about 8 MK82, 500 power bomb, and you just carry about 8 of them. You full power for takeoff. You see the overrun at the end of the runway, the aircraft still not airborne. But we get used to it. So when it go to that low point at the end of the runway, the aircraft will take off, by itself.
Can you tell me about one of your missions where you were talking about supporting Rangers or the SOGs? Because that was really some close air support, was it not? It was not normal. It was very close to the ground.
Correct. To explain that SOG mission, 530 pilot took care of it. As I know the SOG mission is being covered by another squadron, like a 524 and Nha Trang, or another squadron at Bien Hoa. But at the time, at 1972, 1971, they start early. We flew that mission like a mercenary because we get paid by CIA. We formed a small group of the pilot in the squadron. Not every pilot can fly it. Not because the fly skill, some of the skill, the experience. But like myself, because Major Thang is my mentor. So he say, okay, he took me, into the mission. Why, not everybody fly? Money. Because every time we fly, we get double pay, double our salary. Because we fly, we always, have the list of the 85 and give to FAC. The FAC is the Bronco guy, I forgot the call sign, but always have one CIA guy or the Ranger guy, sit in the back, Green Beret guy sit in the back. And he verified the tail number because he had to pay us. So with 85, they have a 2-seat. So instead of get paid for 1, we get paid for 2. Okay, and 2 aircraft minimum, the formation, aircraft formation, we get paid for 4. And I remember, don't quote me on this, but I remember we get paid every time we take off. They count 1 pay. We landing, they count a second pay, the payment. So each time we took off, each head, they count the head, 6,000 Vietnamese PRs. 2-seat aircraft, they pay 1,200, Vietnamese PRs. So take off, 1,200 Vietnamese PRs. Landing, 1,200 Vietnamese PRs. Total is what? 2,400. You know what our salary, the Air Force with lieutenant like me at the time? About 32,000 Vietnamese PRs, a month, okay? So you're talking about you have 24,000, not 2,400. I make a mistake when I say 2,400. 24,000, each time, one mission, is almost our salary. So at least we make a double salary, every month. One time I flew with Major Thang in the mission to go back to Saigon and get paid. The Duffy bag, they load the money in it, and we have to carry 2 Duffy bags like that, throw in the blue room of the 85 and flew back to Pleiku, to share. We did share some payment with another pilot, But that is a SOG mission. Every time they drop the team, we have to airborne within 5 to 10 minutes, in hot scramble. At one time, I remember they have 2 aircraft always parked at the end of the runway, and the pilot had to sleep with a hammock under the wing. The hotline ring, we have to hop it in. Now, let me tell you one of the memory I have. I just remember fly with Major Thang. He always take off, within 5 minutes when the telephone rang. On the wingman never beat him. And finally, he shared with me, I asked him, I say, how could you airborne that fast? You hop it on the airplane, you start the engine, then you taxi, and you take off. You know what he did? He didn't buckle in. He hovered in on the airplane. The first thing he start the engine, he take off, not run up the engine. And he always take off. I'm still, struggle at the end of the runway. And, if to keep the distance that far, I have to catch up with him to drawn up into formation. But, all the way to the target, he always beat us, because he do crazy thing like that. That's why I say Baba Black Sheep. He's the one. He's the craziest one,
But when it came to flying, he was all business.
Oh, when it came to fly, yes, he fly the A-1 like I ride a bicycle. He do the crazy thing. He do the loop. He do the the thing. The A-1 is a very scary machine. You have to be very confident, to do. For example, in one mission, I remember I flew at 6 p.m. with him to the border of Laos and Vietnam. And the OV-10 want to show off. It's a Jupiter, bomb exactly in my smoke. OV-10 coming in made the loop and shoot the rocket, mark the target. And Major Thang coming in say, Jupiter, 6-1 coming in hot. He carried napalm. He made the loop, and he dropped pair of napalm. the OV-10 say, Jupiter, hold it. You cannot do that, okay? If you don't do it again, I will kick you out of the target. And Major Thang English is the one, funny too. I remember when he talked to OV-10, I forget the call sign, but he said, if you're not happy to work with me, kick me out of the target, I'm negative to work with you. That's what he said. But, the OV-10 get the message, He said, why you be able to do that? But you don't let me doing that, But talking about crazy thing, I didn't dare to make a loop and drop the bomb, especially in the napalm. But that is Major Thang. That is Major Thang.
Very confident at the controls.
Very confident in control, and he do whatever he want to do. Now, another thing talking about him capable to fly. One time, I believe he have a fight, argument with his wife. I flew with him, come back and landing, and then he say, number 2, go ahead and land it. I fly on top of the Pleiku Tower, and you go back and tell my wife coming in and watch when I flew the A-1. It's not Pleiku, I come back and tell his wife, say, Major Thang want you to watch his fly up there. He do all the acrobatic, and do the crazy thing. And he come back. I say, why you doing that? He says, I want she keep her mouth shut. I'm mad, okay? I scare her. But that is Major Thang, the very emotion, if I tell the story, the people look at us. They thought, hey, we're the warrior. We love to bombing, that kind of thing. You have to see Major Thang in order to understand, we just fulfill our responsibility, every day. Because after when he waiting for his mission, nobody babysit, his children. He bring the children to the squadron, and he feed the children. And I look at that and I say, this is a war. Okay, the father feed the daughter, then, telephone ring, give the bowl of rice to another young pilot or a friend in the squadron. Say, you feed my daughter, I had to get to fly. And take a helmet, and shoulder harness and fly. And I said, people have to see something like that, to sympathize and understand us more. When we party hard. But every day, we have to take care of both. I'm single at the time, and I see they have to fulfill responsibility of the spouse as well as, they have to fly the dangerous mission. And quite a few get killed in Pleiku. And what is tough job? I'm sorry, but I have to remember and bring this up. My tough job, everybody tough job, but I say in one occasion it happened to me. The tough job is not go dive it in and drop the bomb in the ground fire, and that kind of thing. No. The tough job is when one of your comrades, one of your wingmen or your leader, get killed. And you've been assigned to come and inform family they get killed. It's tough. It's tough because at one time we hover around, the house. We watch the whole family having dinner, and we hesitate to come in and drop, the bad news about their son, their, father, their husband, like that. That is a tougher job. I hate to do that job, I think. Yeah, but one of my classmates in Herbert Field, his name is Do, D-O, and his last name is Le, L-E. He got killed in Pleiku. I don't know, I have a picture for you. When his airplane get burned, they go off the runway to the grass and then flip and get burned. And he tried to get out of the cockpit, but one side of the shoulder harness he failed to release, and he got killed because halfway in, halfway out. I'm the one responsible for take his coffin, bring it back to Hue, a delivery to his family. That is another tough memory I have too. However, when I think about that, when I remember about that, General Key, at the end, when we evacuate and come to the United States, he made some, I don't say mistake, but somebody like some of his activity or action, somebody completely against it. Okay, so he have a good point, bad point about it. But in that incident of Doe get killed on the runway, it's just coincidence in that afternoon, Cherokee coming and visit 72 Wing, and he stopped by the 530 Squadron and chat with our A-1 Skyraider pilot. He loved the A-1 Skyraider pilot. He's very proud about A-1 Skyraider pilot. He's the one, here's the good thing, he make us become, the A-1 Skyraider pilot become legendary, because he go everywhere. He pray, Skyraider pilot, is the number one for him. In that afternoon, the bomb still tumbling and lay on the runway. The fire vehicle run like a Chinese firework. I mean, it's back and forth, and people try to fighting the flame, hydraulic, when they burn, it's a very unique flame, and see it. Cherokee, he come over there and he direct the firefighter. Even the American fire unit in Pleiku, when they see, 2-star general to stand over there, and they know Key. And Key direct, they do their job, to try to save Doe. But his action, I admire it, because he not run away. Somebody see the bomb, 500-pound bomb, on over the place, they run away. Or they say, yeah, this is not my job. I'm 2-star general. Key, go over there and direct the people, rescue the pilot. In that one isolation occasion, and I really admire him. I really admire him. Even I do not quite agree with him for some of what he did, but he's a good man.
Can you tell me about when you got shot down?
That is a good memory too. At 1972, I remember vividly, it's April, very hot, and Charlie 5 base. Let me explain a little bit about Charlie 5 base. Charlie 5 base used to be the 5 base of American troop, put the artillery 175, hours to shoot, and strategically it locate in the border of Benhead, Kontum, and the Highway 19 go south through Chupao to Pleiku. And the enemy, when they make a big offensive in 1972, they call Spring Campaign, they got to go through the Highway 19. The Vietnamese at the headquarters, airborne. I don't know whose idea, but drop the battalion they call 11 battalion on top of that 5 base. American artillery already withdraw. Now the Vietnamese come and take it over, but they drop that airborne battalion in there in order to spot, activity in the area. That is a big mistake, in my opinion, because the airborne, the Red Beret elite group is not stationary. They should moving around and attack enemy. Now, they're very disciplined. Every day, 1,000, the artillery incoming. They have the tolerate on of that. Every day, 1,000, just focus on their position. As I say, Charlie 5 base is a strategic, location. So very important, the enemy, the VC have to disable Charlie totally, to move their tank down to the south through the Highway 19. Of course, when they move to that route, they will hit Quantum. And eventually they did hit the Quantum, at the end of their campaign. They occupy Quantum too, in the short period of time. But go back, after I talk about the location, important location of the Charlie, if you willing, I share a little bit about relationship of our Skyraider pilot 530 squadron, especially Major Thang, Captain Long, Major Ha, myself, we party, the group party a lot with the Red Beret. We're very close-knit, okay, because my brother, battalion commander is also my brother Frank. So when they land in Pleiku, before they've been helicopter dropped to the Charlie, we party. We party, before they make a move. And eventually we know they've been surrounded and they in distress, okay? Why I'm saying that? Because I remember one night we sit outdoor to watch, on the singer, the artist perform on the stage. Colonel Ba, the wing commander, coming in and give the finger to call on of our 530, fires pilot. It's coming out, and Major Thang is a represent for us to have a conversation of Colonel Ba. And he come back and he say, let's go. We say, go what? Go where? It's nighttime, And Major Thang say, Colonel Ba, just tell me, the American advisor say if 530 squadron pilot does not fly now to support, Charlie Bay 5 base, because it's nighttime, they will call the C-130, drop the huge bomb. They have nicknamed it, I forgot. They will drop the huge bomb and flat it out, the Charlie. And Charlie 5 base. And Major Thang said, we got to go. We got to go. We cannot let our brother over there, like that. And he said he pick up, not all, everybody, of course. He pick up just, 2 or 3 experienced pilot, fly with him, and night flights, and support Charlie 5 base. On I remember the 5th or the 7th, why I forgot that, my flight been hot scramble with Major Thang, to close air support to Charlie 5 base. And I carry napalm he carry MK-82, is an explosive bomb, 500 pounds. So when we carry mix like that, we have no choice, but he coming in finished first with the MK-82. I carry napalm. I have to fly low, treetop, to spread, the flame out. So two different patterns. One is steep diving, one is, B-52 traffic pattern, to drop, to spread napalm. So he say, let me take care of the empty my MK-82 first. Then I will waiting for you at 7,000 feet, and you coming in and drop napalm. Okay, deal. After he finished, he climbed up. The FAC say, hey, Jupiter, be careful, because I see quite a few ground fire, around the area. And I coming in. I make a mistake. I coming in, I remember vividly, I coming in from west to east. And Charlie, 5 base, and Delta 5 base, it kind of sloped down in the valley like this. And when I coming in from west to east to spread napalm, I hear on the radio, I said, hey, Jupiter, it's overrun. The bad guy overrun, from the north, from the south. Because Charlie 5 base, I still remember vividly, the 5 base, heading north this way, okay, south this way, and the valley like this. And they say they overrun, enemy overrun this way from the south hill. And I spread, the napalm. And the first pass, because the first pass, and I fly too low, I look up and I see the red beret guy stand on, behind the barbed wire they call concertina, but I have to pay attention to landscaping because they are very tall tree, both sides of my wing, and I fly right in between. But I spread, a little bit long because I pay too much attention, on the environment surround me. Second pass, I do better, of course, because I have a chance to adjust that. But I coming in the same heading, okay? The enemy, the ground fight, the anti-aircraft machine gun just waiting for me. And they hit me. When I coming in, I still have a 2 napalm. The last pass, I have chance to drop yet. My engine is cough. It go backfire and boom, boom, boom. It keep go. It's not smoothly. I know right away. So I pull all the way up, from the treetop. I remember I pulled up. This is about 3,000 feet. But 3,000 feet is above the ground level. It's just about 1,500 feet because I feel elevation in the play cool. And I look down to the ceiling head temperature, it go to the red line, okay, across the red line. And I don't know, at the time, I don't have time to analyze anything. I pull the power back a little bit, okay. The engine, quit coughing. But if I keep it that level, the power, the throttle, the airplane going down, okay? Manifold pressures, it's not enough to keep the aircraft to hold altitude. So I know I'm going down. I put it back. I testing, I put it back, boom, at engine roughness again. So I have to pull it out and set it right there. But when I set it right there, the aircraft going down, cannot hold altitude. Make long story short, I look, at the wingtip because I'm low. So I look at the wingtip, I see ductile, unprepared surface for helicopter landing. Some grass and gravel, in there. And I talked through the radio with Major Thang, is my number one, and say, number two get hit. Number two get hit, maybe I eject. And Major Thang say, no, don't eject, try to go to Dakto. And I look, I see two helicopters still, main rotors still rotate. And I say, but you got to go over there and kick ass two helicopter out of that, landing strip before I coming in. He say, calm down, I take care of it. And he come in and eventually he tell the story. I did write that article and maybe I will forward to you and you read it. He very smart. When he coming in and he rocked the wing, two helicopters still didn't get the message. They thought he tried to show off his Skyraider. They keep watching him until he flies second pass, really low, open the canopy, and he give the hand signal, whack, thumb up, and say, get out. And the smart helicopter pilot read the message. They hop it in, they take off. So I have the open landing, unprepared surface landing strip. I coming in already low, and I anticipate, I just put the landing gear down, right? Because I don't want too much of drag. So I have a gear up. Come to the final, the forced landing. So I coming in and I put the gear down. The gear does not come down because, eventually hydraulic system gets shut down. And whoever fly the A-1 know that the hydraulic pump is the huge one, on the right-hand side. I don't have enough, Vietnamese pilot is not strong enough. 120 pound, 130 pound, pilot cannot handle that hydraulic pump in the last minute. So I say, what the heck? I'm crashed, barely landing. And I coming in, and I still very proud when I think back what I did that day. Because I learned from the good instructor pilot from U.S. Air Force. They taught me well. So when I'm high, I sleep the aircraft. I crap the aircraft. Okay. So when I coming in, I see, in forced landing like that, you don't want to come in short. You rather come high and you have the runway or you have the landing strip. But when you realize you had enough altitude, too high. So I sleep the aircraft. And again, I explained to you, because you sleep the aircraft like that. I open canopy and sleep the aircraft. Sleep the aircraft is easy, simple with the good pilot. But if you make one small mistake, the aircraft can stall right in the final approach and you get killed. So you have I low my left wing and right rudder enough in order to make an aircraft crapping like this. They drop, reduce a lot of altitude, but don't gain any airspeed. Okay, so they drop like a rock. The A-1, drop like a rock. When I see, it's about the time I straight out, my aircraft and fly out and landing. No landing gear, you have different feeling. The whole aircraft, it dropped like a rock. And it's sinking with a lot of negative, G. And boom, the red soil dust is red, Come on over my aircraft, and I'm like a rodeo, riding, on the runway. And the aircraft suddenly stopped. It jerked and stopped. Because no gear. And the dust settled down. You know what I saw right in front of me? I swear to God, it's not more than 20 feet. The concertina, right this, at the end of the landing strip, okay, with a lot of beer can. They hang the beer can, so if the enemy in middle of the night, crawling in and make a beer can, hit each other and give a warning, very rude way, jerry-rigged, way, but it worked. With the sign, with the bone, with the skull and the crossbone, say, do not cross, landmine. I say, oh my God. I yanked the canopy, climb out, and I confess. I love to tell the truth, I confess with my friend, after I get back to the squadron, I cannot control my knee, okay? My knees are trembling. My knees are trembling, Two pilots from the 118 squadron, the forward air control liaison officer to go in bed with the army guy on the ground. They coming out from the defense, tunnel. They hold in hand the whiskey made by Korea. They call be high or be healed, whatever, H-I-V-E, B-E-H-I-V-E. They give me, they say, congratulations, you escaped the crash. I hold the bottle. And I tell you, I just do like this. I just had a finger in there and I finished a quarter of the bottle, okay? And coming in and I sip all the way back to their, position. And I fall to sleep. 3 p.m. Those two officers come and wake me up, and say, hey, the helicopter come and pick you up. I coming out and I take my helmet, shoulder harness, hopping on the helicopter. Who fly helicopter? My close friend, in the same Pleiku. His name is Thang, and we know when we was in high school in Saigon. And he say, what kind of pilot you are? Let the VC shoot you down. He starts tease me on that. And he say, okay, now you in my hand. Let me show you, how the helicopter fly, back to Pleiku. And he zigzagged, follow the creek bed, and doing that. You know what I did? I asked the cruise ship, the gunman, of the helicopter. I have a helmet, but I don't have the plug. So I call the guy, it's a non-commissioned officer. I say, give me the plug. So he unplugged, and I put the helmet on, I plug it back in. I did exactly what I tell you the story now. I kneel on the floor of a helicopter, and I do like this. I say, please, I just escaped the crash this morning. I don't want to get killed on helicopter. Go up and fly safely. Take me back to Pleiku. And he laughing. He says, I thought, A-1 Skyraider pilot is really tough. You're a chicken. You're a pussycat. It's just so funny. We nonchalant, behavior or acting is always with us. Without that, we cannot survive and go through the harm way every day. How many times, we've been shot by the 37 millimeter, AAA. We call popcorn, okay? Because when they explode, they create the white smoke like a popcorn. But when we're bombing, we have a habit is kick the right rudder or left rudder, depend on your left hand or right hand, and look back to see does the bomb drop, depend on the smoke of FAC or not. Everybody wants to know, how you do the job. And you see the popcorn follow you, okay? They set the altitude for the explosion of the ammo. So, of course, they go faster than the A1 speed. So you see they chasing you, the popcorn, and they pass you and they explode, at higher altitude. Instead of scared, panic, we always joke, through the radio and say, look at that, did you see it? Did you see they shoot at me, but they miss? And another guy say, yeah, I wish the same bat gonna, shoot me when I coming in hot next, We always joke, teasing each other, because you think like this. Here to tell the truth. Every time you dive in, at least 100 guys shoot at you. Whoever have a rifle, I believe some stupid guy with the handgun, shoot at you too. But you're talking about at least 100 guys have an AK-47, even they don't hurt you, but they still shoot at you. And the best way to describe to people like my wife, sometimes she asks, she say, so what is the ground fire? What do you see? And one night, I have one example show her exactly, so she got the feeling what I feel with the ground fire. When you drive at nighttime and it's a snow day, okay, it's snow night, you put the high beam, you see the snowflake fly toward the windshield. That exactly, I got flashback when I drive through the snow. It's like a ground fire. It coming in very small dot, but when it comes close to you, it go surround you. But it's not easy, to get hit. Except they hit me, that toe crash, because it locked 3 bullets, at 12.7 millimeter, I believe, anti-aircraft machine gun. They lock it in my cylinder. I got total, 7 shot, but 3 of them lock it in the cylinder. And the guy coming in recovery, the airplane, change the engine, then he found in the cylinder. And I still keep one of them, all the way to United States. When I have the panel with the pattern, my pattern, I have that on top of it. But I'm moving the house now, so I don't know where I know where I'm putting it, but it's a big warehouse over there. I couldn't show you that. But that is a crash at Dacto. I have a ton of memory. You cannot forget. Some it because you're a young pilot, you make a mistake. Some of the caused by the malfunction of the aircraft. But some it's I'm joking here. The French call c'est la vie, the English call shit happen. Sometimes just shit happen. But it's hard to forget. If you want to hear more of those stories, let me know.
I would love that. If you want to go on another one, that would be great.
Another one is I name it friendly fire. When we support one morning, I remember one morning we fly to Manhattan and support the Ranger base. They say the tank. They spot the tank on the runway. Manhattan is small, fortified, so the runway is just for caribou, or helicopter. They say they saw the tank, at one end of the runway. They hot scramble me and another young lieutenant to come and take care of that. And when we took off, clear sky from Pleiku. When we get close to the target, we see the ceiling is about 2,000 feet, but overcast. It's like a pancake cover, that runway. So we have no choice but go under the ground and bomb it. and they call in the training at Herbert Field, they call bunk bomb. Bunk bomb. Bunk bomb is, you cannot set the beeper because it's too low. You cannot see, and you cannot dive in. Because you dive it in, the fragment of the bomb will kill you. So the way they bombing is keep the aircraft straight, level flight. Turn on the beeper. I forgot the number, but the beeper is show the cowling. The cowling of aircraft is that low. So I cow, like see the target. When the cowling pass the target, then start count 1001, 1002, 1003. Again, 47 years, I forgot exactly the number I had, how many seconds before I hit the switch and drop the bomb. We call bunk bomb, okay? And we did that. We did that, and all the way get out. We did destroy the Thang at that time. But you know what? The T-72 tank, they made different than the American tank. In their chain, they don't have a rubber, just steel. So with the American tank, if I hit the napalm, okay, they will melt the rubber. With that T-72 tank, they're still running, okay? But anyway, we finished it. When we put it up heading, to Pleiku, my number 2 says, I just spot, the ground fire in the last minute. Can you give me the permission to come back and shoot the 20 millimeter cannon into that ground fire? I say, yeah, go ahead, but be careful, okay? I'm still waiting for you outside. I climb to higher above the cloud. And after we finished, all the way back to Pleiku. The procedure of us, or U.S. Air Force, we've been training the same thing. After you finish the target, you got to check number 1, check number 2, number 2, check number 1, making sure you don't have a damage, because if you have a bullet hole on the rudder or and the tail fuselage, you cannot see it. But you got to be aware, to something happen, you react. Anyway, he go around my airplane and he say, number 1, you look good, okay? I say, okay, take a lead, and I'm taking care to check yaw. And he take a lead, and I go around him. When I go underneath his aircraft, I look up. I see 4 20 millimeter cannon. The chamber is closed. That tell me he forgot to put the switch, cannon switch off and safe. The procedure for safety, every time you're strafing and you finish, you got to put the switches off and safe. When you put the switch off and safe, the chamber discharge the last bullet in there, okay, the last ammo in there. You don't have an accident when you're landing and, the impact, you accidentally shoot because, the hammer will hit it. I see 4 chamber is closed, and I make stupid mistake. I say, oh, number 2, are you sure your switch is off and safe? As soon as I finish that, 4 20 millimeter cannon, bullet, fly by my canopy. Okay, oh, I said, I drew him out. I say, what the F you doing? You try to kill me? Did you know? Because when he hear me to remind him, say, hey, switch, is not off and safe, by reflection, he reach out and he shut it out. Discharge, the cannon. So I come back and I request safety officer for, short briefing. And I say, lesson to learn. I call friendly fire. Lesson to learn, when you see something like that happen, You got to keep your mouth shut, okay, until you clear the way. Then let him know. That is one of the good experience. Another two stories, I believe interesting too. I talk to Don, and he very interesting to listen. When I see, Elizabeth Pham, she's the Marine Corps pilot. I think she must be colonel by now. I met her years ago in San Jose. She flies F-18 Hornet. Okay, her husband, the major, do the same thing. But during the reunion in San Jose, she go every table and kind of salute, on the uncle, senior, the VNAV pilot, and appreciate, thank you for the service and that kind of thing. And she want us to share with her the combat experience. And I tried to find one story, to share with her, but I said, no. We fly the word I talked to you, the archaic. We fly the archaic, airplane. She fly the F-18. What lesson she should learn from us? But when I share about that friendly fire, she say, no. That's, experience, that story still, have has valid to us. Because everybody have to shoot the 20mm cannon. Discharge, the shell or not, it's the same thing. Another accident is this, I believe, is sabotage by the enemy. Okay, I support the Delta 5 base, of the Green Beret Ranger in the west of the Quantum.
What year was that?
This is 72, okay. 72. And I remember vividly, I flew with the Captain Liu, Lieu. He lives in Oklahoma City now. He's the youngest captain in the Vietnamese Air Force. Because, he eject 3 times within a month, I believe. Nobody can eject, that many times in the short period of time. And he been called back to Saigon and promote, to captain, and is the youngest captain at the time. I believe he's 22 years old and something like that. But anyway, I flew with him. And again, he dropped MK-82, I dropped Napa. And he climbed up, waiting for me. And I come and skip Napa. And I put in pair. And the first pad I dropped, I got hung bomb on the left wing. So when you get hung bomb, you drop pair, but it's just the right one drop, the left one hung in there. The aircraft is kind of unbalanced. So I'm kind of lazy pilot. I trim the aircraft to the right wing in order to keep balance. I come in second pass, okay? I drop pair. Same shit happened. Hung bomb on the left, drop on the right. Again, I trim more on the right. You know what the mistake I make? Last pass, I had to pull the cable, making sure on the bomb is released. When I doing that, what will happen? I trim, all the way to the right wing. And now, I pull the cable, drop the bomb. The aircraft is snap roll, like this at the treetop. I don't know why I'm survived in that accident, because I'm sweat. The amazing about God is how He can produce the sweat in my body coming out within a fraction of a second, I'm sweat. But, I don't count as my skill. I call it lucky, because at that moment, in the fraction of a second, and I have to do something. And I decide, I'm not trying to fighting back, but I decide to make complete 360 roll, so I have more time, all the way when I recover, even, is almost 90 degrees like this, but I have time to level off. When I level off, I still call number two eject. Captain Leo say, why? Why you eject? Say, I'm vertigo. I don't see, Mustang right in front of me. I thought I'm see the sky. I said, no. You're perfect level flight, okay? Do not eject. I will come and get you. And he dived in, and he fly formation with me. And when you fly formation, I just follow them. Coming back and said, why I feel I'm vertigo. You know what happened? When we come in bombing, he did not listen to, or me too, listen to the guard frequency. They say you have high altitude artillery fire at 35,000 feet or 30,000 feet. When we hear that, that's what it means. B-52. Okay? Artillery, shell, shoot at the 30,000 feet. What kind of artillery is that? That is the B-52. We don't monitor, the guard frequency. And where the accident happened. Yeah, and shit happened at the same time, the coincidence. But when I struggled with that Hung bomb, the B-52 dropped, right in front of me. And you have to see B-52 drop. They connect the ducts from the ground to the cloud. So they create a curtain, of dust right in front of me. And I just recovered from my emergency. Now I lost, the environment right ahead of me. So in the fraction of a second, I thought I'm vertigo. Okay.
What if you had the hung bomb? You might have been right there when they dropped.
Yeah, I did. No, not that close. Not that close. I think at least between 5 to 10 miles. It's not that. But people on the ground will feel the concussion. But we on the airplane, we so focused on the mission. That is the one made me sweat. And it can happen to everybody. Well-skilled pilot, knowledge pilot, it's not like me, just flight the A-1. But I learned the lesson. You survive, you learn the lesson. And that way, nothing can beat the experience. Nothing can beat the experience. Another incident, you were surprised, you see. Just 4 years you fly the A-1, how many accidents you get? But you fly every day. You fly every day. I don't mean every day, but at least 365 days, you fly 300 days. Okay? 65 days, it's all bad weather and that kind of thing. But anyway, another accident happened to me as I dropped at that day. I forget the location of it. I think this happened in Bien Hoa. No, in Pleiku. It happened in Pleiku because I have a fighting after that with my operation officer. It's a Major Shang. Here the story. I dropped 750 pound bomb. We call the pig. It's huge like this. One of my pictures, sit with both legs, spread with the 750 pound bomb right between my legs. You will see how big it is. It's heavy, 750 pounds. In the wall. You cannot, hang on the outer wall. Must be in the wall. And when you drop that bomb, you have to dive it in because it's heavy. So it's steeper. The diving angle is quite steep. I think more than 45 degrees. Okay. And when you dive it in with the A-1 like that, the control stick have a tendency to push you back. It's pushed back. because the airflow, and that kind of thing. And again, nobody want to fly with that, pressure. It's hard to tracking the target and drop. So I trim the aircraft, make it light, and I can keep the beeper on the target. I got the runaway trim, nose down. So exactly when I trim, I hear on my headphone, they go, meow. It has short in it. So the aircraft is diving like this, okay? Full trim nose down, run away. And they go like this, and I drop that from 10,000 feet. When I dive in, lucky, at that mission, I dropped 750 pounds at 10,000 feet. And I pull. I'm fighting with the stick. I'm not strong enough. Maybe American pilot, I have no problem with them because they are more muscle. The Vietnamese pilot, fighting. I recovery, I tell you, around 1,000 feet, okay? I thought I get killed on that. And when I level off the aircraft, about 5 minutes later, my hand trembling because I tried too much and on the muscle, it cramped, okay? And I have to survive. I cannot let the aircraft, I released the nose drop. You know what I did? I take off the seatbelt, okay? If I eject, I get killed. But I take off the seatbelt, to loose it up, wrap around the stick, and then tied it up, fly all the way from target back to Pleiku. All the way back to Pleiku, I declare emergency, and then I kind of experiment myself. What will I do when I reach Pleiku Air Force Base? And I try, to tied it up, loose it up, the seat belt, to keep level fly and simulate, when I come back and landing, what I have to do, to flare the aircraft in landing, even straight in landing. They give me straight in landing, B-52, traffic pattern. But every time I release it, drop. And I experiment, I load, a quarter of flap. They look like it take out some pressure. I go to half, I go to full flap. I'd be able to control some. At the airspeed, it's 90 knot, okay? It's 190 knot. I can feel, a full flap to help me with that. So I come back, and I landing at Pleiku. On pilot doesn't have nothing to do. That is different than Bien Hoa. Bien Hoa, the runway far away from the squadron. At Pleiku, squadron and runway is there. So everybody here, the duty officers say, hey, the Jupiter, blah, 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 get emergency. You hear the siren of the fire vehicle. Everybody rush to the runway and they watch the air show. The guy coming in land. And they light up and see me landing. And they see me, put full flap and landing. I'm landing okay. It bounce, it's rough landing. But I'm safe. I coming in the squadron and my operation officer, I like him. He liked me too. But, he rough, And he say, doggone it. Actually, he didn't say doggone, he said the bad word, Who taught you, to landing with runaway trim nose down with a full flap? I said, what? Show me. In the emergency checklist of the A-1, do they have, the emergency checklist for the runaway trim nose down? No, it's not in there. Yeah, but why you load the full flap? I say, I don't care. At that time, I should not answer like that, but I'm so hot, and I'm again the rowdy guy. I say, I don't care. I'm still alive. okay, and I put the full flap, I'll be able to land the aircraft. That all count, okay? I don't care. I said, you got to follow the dash one. You got to follow the book. You know, I say, I told you, I don't care. You know, and I walk away, fighting, with the operation officer, on that occasion. Not safety officer, but operation officer. But he's a good man. He's a good. He's still alive in California. But that is the third, accident I would like to share with you. The fourth one is a funny. Actually, it's not funny, but I say funny. I ran off the runway at Phuket. Phuket is the runway for B-52 emergency landing. Okay, if the B-52 from Philippines, they come in bombing, and if they got emergency, Phuket is the one hand up runway with and land for them to make an emergency only, landing. In that mission, I flew with Major Long. Is now he in Richmond here. If he watched this YouTube, he will remember, what I'm saying. On the story I say is authentic, okay? We have to drop CBU-55. We call pressure bomb, okay? Story about that CBU-55. One morning, the squadron commander coming in and say, U.S. Navy, through the U.S. Advisor, Major Perino, I remember his name. I don't know why, now I remember his name. Major Perino, thick mustache, come and talk to the squadron commander and say, U.S. Navy have quite a few spy CBU-55. The window, on the side of the bomb already changed the color. Okay, so that means a spy. But they think it still work. Okay, so the VNF want it. They will give to VNF. They give the 530, and he come in and talk to Major Thang and say this is kind of unsafe, because it's not by the book. Major Thang say, take it. I take care of it, And he accept, those CBU-55, and he fly test to drop the bomb, to making sure it's okay, to drop. In that mission, we have to support, to clear the landing zone for Vietnamese Marine Corps, landing at Bong Sơn. Bong Sơn is, between Quy Nhơn and Quang Ngai. They coming in on the ocean, the Iowa, the battleship Iowa, shoot, those monsters to clear the landing zone. We bring, the CBU-55 coming in and making sure it's clear, because it's a pressure bomb. So, making sure it's safe for the Marine Corps. I flew the, most of us fly A-1H, I remember. I carry 6. I carry 6, Major Long carry 6 of them, okay? And we took off. Major Long cannot talk in the phone, on the radio. His radio completely out. But the mission is so important. I still be able to communicate with everybody, but not him. We fly from close formation and give signal, on down. And I talked to tower of Phuket, and I think if he's Fulbert Colonel at the time, what his name? Anyway, he used to be a A-1 Skyraider pilot too. He's the guru of the A-1 Skyraider pilot. And he tell me, he said, landing in Phuket, and he will give you a direction. So I give signal to Major Long, we landing Phuket after communicate with the Phuket tower, we land. And that Fulbert Colonel Thuyen, his name is Thuyen, Tuyen. He just passed away a couple months ago. Anyway, he from California. He coming out and he say, you cannot cancel this mission. Okay, why don't he talk to Major Long? Why don't you take the good radio aircraft of your number two? Number two take your bad radio aircraft, okay? And when you contact the ground troop, wherever you drop, tell number two, drop the same spot. At least we don't waste the mission, okay? We still be able to clear the landing zone. And we did that. He hovered on my airplane. I hovered in his airplane. I'm like a blind man, okay? Now I make another mistake. I don't have radio, but I pay too much attention of U.S. Cobra pilot when they see the A-1 Skyraider, two of them taxi with a very unique bomb under the wing. They hop it out there, helicopter, take a picture, I open the canopy, waving at them, I'm very distracted because I want to show off to the helicopter pilot. I don't pay attention to windsock. A windsock at that day is straight. That means it's about 25 to 30 knots. Not talking about gusty wind. And the Phuket is, famous in the summer. I have a gusty wind. Anyway, we number one takeoff. I see Major Long, full power, take off. He ran to the left. He ran to the right. But, it's a center line. He still be able to maneuver the aircraft, and he airborne. He live off. My turn, I put the power on. Okay, I think now I look back, I think I put the power too fast. The rate of throttle, I forward it too hot. It pulled me to the left. Okay, it happened all the time. To correct that, I had to pull the power back. Okay, when I pull the power back and make correction to the right. But I keep do left, right, and then I over correction. The aircraft is snake dance, on the runway. And it's about the third time I see the green right in front of me. The green grass of home. I tell you, I saw that. But I don't know. I really fast when I was young. I'm stupid, but I'm fast. It compensates for it. As soon as I see the aircraft, up and down and green right in front of me, I make a decision right away. I put the gear up, and I use my feet with the jungle boots. I against the panel. If I don't against the panel, it broken my feet because the paddle, the rudder, I keep kick back and forth because the surface of the ground is not smooth. It kind of, and the rudder in the back being moved by, the surface, the ground surface. So it's fighting, I can hear it, and the aircraft off the runway. Now, it go again, rodeo, okay? And the aircraft stopped. The aircraft stopped. You know what happened? It momentarily. When I say like they have time, but actually it's no time at all. 6 CBU-55. Follow me. Climb over the wing of the Skyraider. Because why? Now I have time to think about. When I gear up, the impact release on of the 6 bomb, okay? The shape of it aerodynamically, is a whole lot better than the A-1 Skyraider, with the wing. So more surface, it stopped the aircraft first. Those 6 bombs are like a sick rocket. Keep going at high speed, high velocity. They climb over the wing. And they stop. It's about, I say 50 to 100 feet away from me. Okay? And I sit out there, I swear to God, hear exactly what I think and what I say. I say, shit. Okay? Maybe I didn't say, but I talk in my head. Go ahead and explode it. I'm not running. I give up. Give up attitude, you know. I say, go ahead and explode it. I'm not running, you know. And I keep waiting. You can tell. It's about more than 1 minute, and if you not explode, I gain a lot of confidence it will not explode. Okay? So I had to use my both hand, yank the canopy, you know, back, and climb out. Now, after 47 years, let me tell you, I'm honestly tell you the authentic story. After 47 years, I confess. When I climb out, you know, I look at the checklist. At the ground egress, you know, what is the checklist procedure when that kind of accident happened? I do perfect on this switch off, this switch off. Because I know the Air Force will send the safety officer come and make an investigation. If the pilot fault, you know, how he react with the procedure.
So you check the list and then fix the plane to the list.
After the fact. It's so funny, you know? Hey, I tell you true, you know? And after I do that, I climb out, and every A-1 Skyraider, Vietnamese pilot, fly the Skyraider, always have a cushion about this thick, because we're too short. We cannot reach the pedal. We crank up the pedal all the way up. It's still not a good for control the pedal, you know, for the torque compensation and that kind of thing. That's why I went off the grass. But anyway, I put the cushion right in front of yellow line of the huge runway of Phuket. Okay? I sit in there for 30 minutes. Not a single people coming out. The whole base ran away, including the guy in the tower. When they see CBU-55 right in front of them, if it explode, I don't know what will happen, you know. But anyway, you know, it ran away. And my number one is Major Long. He airborne. He kicked the rudder. He fly, you know, around. He don't see number two. And then when he say he looked down, he see the dust still coming out, you know, on one side of the runway. And he say, well, that may, you know, run off the runway. So he come back and make a low pass. He say, I saw one guy with a cushion sit right in front of center line of the runway and wave it at me. So he proceed, you know, to go to Bong Son to prepare the landing zone for the Marine Corps. It's funny, I sit over there. Eventually, they have a convertible Jeep coming out with the one lieutenant. It happened, it is my classmate, you know, in academy, officer academy, you know, in Tu Duc. The class is 768. That's the name of it. Anyway, he coming out, he say, is that you, son? What the hell you do with this CBU-55? I say, you know, very dangerous, Mom. He that EOD, okay, he's the expert on that. And I say, I'm so lucky, you know, it's not explode. Because explode, I'm history. He said, come on, you guys dropped the bomb. You guys don't know anything about this bomb. Come over here, I show you. And I remember he have the screwdriver this long, okay? And they have one screw on the side of the bomb. And he put the screwdriver in, and he say, if we go this way, yes, it maybe explode. But if you go this way, no, it's not explode. I put it out the revolver because we're friends, you know. I put out the revolver and say, leave it alone. It will not explode, leave it alone. Don't touch it, okay? And he laughing, he say, you chicken, you know. But that is a good memory, you know, at I ran off. Oh, at the end, when my number one Major Long landing, the base commander, Funbird Colonel Thang, coming out with a convertible Jeep, pick both of us up and go back to his operation center. And he sit over there with another lieutenant colonel. And he reached back, he looked back, and he talked to me. He say, you, what the hell are you doing? You cannot control this A-1 Skyraider. You fly, you know, so sloppy, and you get it run off the grass. And I cannot argue with Funbird Colonel, so I keep my mouth shut. But I whisper to my leader, Major Long. I say, who the hell is this guy? Did he know fucking the Skyraider is difficult to control? You know, and Major Long say, shut your fucking mouth. He is the guru of the Skyraider. He know inside out, so that's why he chew you out. It's so funny, you know, I still remember that. Reunion in California, I come and he didn't recall me. I salute him and I say, Colonel, did you remember me? He said, no, you know, actually, I not remember. And I tell that accident and he said, oh, I remember now, I remember now. It's so funny, you know.
So I know that you had one other story that we talked about last night where you did a very low pass to try to impress a young lady. If you could tell us that funny story and the outcome of that, tell us how that started and its youthful exuberance at its best.
Well, I tell you the truth. After 47 years in the United States, I got older, you know, I'm more serious, learned a ton of lessons. And when I look back and tell this story, I want to hide my face because I feel I'm crazy and stupid, okay? But if you ask, yes, I can tell you that I have two witnesses still alive now. They're not fly, but they witnessed, you know, what happened. One live in Washington, D.C., and another one live in California. I have I served at the 518 Squadron in Bien Hoa. And we take turn every other week, you know, and we, you know, 514 have TDY, they call the detachment, anti-coup d'etat, you know, actually, they don't say anti-coup d'etat, but, you know, they call Tân Sơn Nhất or Saigon, you know, detachment. Detachment is about 6 A-1 Skyraider.
Coup d'etats were very
revolution.
Big concern at that time.
Big concern because the only Air Force can create the wave and you cannot control the individual. If you have a coup d'etat with the Marine Corps Airborne, that kind of thing, you got to have at least a battalion. You have at least a ton of officer, you know, you trust your side.
We were fighting not only a battle externally, but internally possibly as well.
Yes, internally as well. So with the Air Force, we can make a coup d'etat easily because it's in here. Nobody can control you. That's why when I check out as the leader, you know, one of my senior officer, he's the instructor, you know, and he decide I'm qualified or leader or not. One of his questions is that. He say, what if you airborne and you receive the order from Air Force commander, say you drop bomb, you know, President Palace, what should you react? You know, he tests to see the judgment of the leader, you know. There's no correct answer or no wrong answer on that, okay? My answer, you want to know my answer for that? And I say, I just declare the emergency in my aircraft in order to buy more time, verify more, you know, information before I blindly listen to the Air Force commander. But if he come back, he try to nail me, he still cannot nail me because I have a technical problem. Okay, radio, engine, you know, the whole 9 yards. But that is just a sleazy way, you know, but it helped me to get off the hook because I'm impartial. I don't make, you know, if I bias, if I follow one side, yes, I will. Either I don't do it or I do. But if I'm neutral guy, why I'm volunteer get into trouble, you know, and be in jail for my whole life. Okay? But talking about that stupid incident, I have a girlfriend. Her name is Denise. Is a half French, half Vietnamese, with you know, very look tan, color, skin is attractive. It's beautiful. It's a lot of people, you know, could wish to be her boyfriend. She worked for UTA. UTA is the French airline company, and she asked me for. Went out, you know, party with her on Saturday evening. And I say, no, I have a schedule, you know, fly, night flight, you know, so I cannot make you happy, you know. And she say, every time, you know, I ask you to go out and party, you know, you keep having one way or the other, always a reason. And I say, no. I tell you true. So let me prove that I tell you true. Let me ask you this. What will you do tomorrow around 6 or 7 p.m.? She said, well, I get off from work, you know, I will go to the Club Nautique, you know, that's what they call, sportive. At the Club Sportive, and swimming pool. And I know that's Club Sportive, okay? But I didn't think about President Palace because both of them separate just one street, narrow street. They call Huyen Trân Công Chua is the name of the street. And I took off, you know, coming in, fly my mission. I have not fly mission yet. You know, I went with the young lieutenant, name is Duc, D-U-C. He's the son-in-law of the high-rank officer of the Air Force, is Lieutenant Colonel Huang. It take care of the security of the Air Force headquarters. So he's a powerful man, okay? He's a son-in-law. And we took off and he say, hey, number 2, is where your family live? He say at Hoc Mon. You know, Hoc Mon is one of the local name of the. I say, okay, you want to go over there and fly around your house? And he said, sure, of course. I say, okay, go ahead and go do it safely, okay? I will do my part on over here, you know, in Vung Tau, and about 30 minutes, you know, I will call you on this frequency and we join up and come back and landing at 5,000 feet. You got clear? He said, yes, Roger, I got clear. And we separate. And I survey, you know, the swimming pool of my girlfriend, you know, swim over there. And when I doing that, and I realize, oh, shoot, I cannot do this because it's too close to President Palace, okay? It look like both of them is the same because it's just one narrow street. It's the street here in Trân Công Chua is about 12 feet wide, okay? 12 or 20 feet wide. Anyway, I rock the wing. I had to lower the Skyraider wing, to see the target, okay? Because, it's right underneath my seat. And I rocked the wing a couple of times, to see, swimming pool. And I said, oh shit, there's no way, no way I can do this because, it's so dangerous. It's President Palace right there, Well, I say, well, man got to do, okay? I've already promised. So I go, make a turn toward the Thang and I cross the Hong Thap Tu in the street, cross that, and so go parallel with the swimming pool and the club sportive. But when I'm doing that, I turn the beeper on to making sure, I have the swimming pool, on my beeper. I'm not armed, the aircraft, at that time. And I dive it in, it's like a dive bomb, share with you a little bit, different people have a different technique, of the dive bomb. I veer off a little bit here, not to explain, very interesting. But I learned my instructor pilot, A-1 instructor pilot, a two excellent is a good pilot, as Mr. Gokkanauer and Dr. Rai, not Dr. Major Rai. Okay, he's the one fly the South mission. Okay, when he teach me how to fly A-1, suddenly he disappear for 2 weeks, and Gokkanauer come and take it over. That's why I have two instructor pilot. 2 weeks later, he come back, and everybody starts celebrating and say, congratulations, you're safe back. I say, where you go, Major Rai? He said, I flew the South mission. I said, you don't share with us. He said, even my wife. I didn't share with my wife until I come back, okay? But those two instructor pilots taught me, and I think I benefit from it. Every time you dive bomb in the Skyraider, it's very slow, and when you make a turn, you lost at least 500 feet, 700 feet. You don't have a chance to tracking the target yet, okay? And you already lost, 700 feet. It's heavy, with the engine right in front of it. So the way they taught me is every time, before I dive it in, I pull the aircraft up, okay? Pull it up. Then I turn the upside down. So actually the enemy shoot me, they shoot over here. And then when I turn upside down like this, and then I roll the wing. For example, I roll into 8,000 feet, right? When I climb up, at least it's 9,000 feet. When I roll it in and I'm ready to track the target, I track at 8,000 feet. I have more time to track the target. But those is the technique, Gokkanauer and Major Rai, taught me. I did the same thing when I coming in with the swimming pool. And I made low pass right on top of the swimming pool.
How high do you think you were? How far off the ground were you when you passed over the pool?
I say, it's about 500 feet. 500 feet, but not including the sink rate. I cannot, it's happened like this. 500 feet, when I pull up, maybe it go to 400, 300, and there. I think it's about 400, because, I not carry any bomb, that. Anyway, I make one pass, and I heading straight to Vung Tau, because that heading east. And I go over there and fly, relax a little bit, and think about what I just did, and then I switch frequency and call that young lieutenant come and join up with me and come and land it. When he come and landing with me, of course, formation, initial, break up and landing, and on the tower frequency, and say, Dragon 61, you go to Paris. Paris is the control room, for the Third Corps, for target bombing, permission to fly and that kind of thing. Their call sign is Paris. and play cool with a peacock, Anyway, they say, hey, Dragon 6-1, switch, change from tower frequency. They didn't say, but they say switch to Paris frequency. You got them, the urgent message. And I say, hey, number 2, you go ahead. You have the runway. Go ahead and land. I break out, go around, break out traffic pattern in order to receive the urgent message, and I break it out. And I switch to the Paris. And they say, are you the Dragon 6-1? Tower, just let us know. I say, affirmative, Dragon 6-1. They say, you got to get out of the airspace of President Palace as soon as possible, or they will shoot you down, because we got the report here. Okay, you try to make a coup d'etat. And I had to, I tell you a raw language, because, I have to play calm and say, what? What the fuck are you talking about? Coup d'etat? No way. Why did they tell me that? Huh? Because I lost my wingman. And that's it. Tell them, calm down. I didn't do anything crazy in here. I say, okay, if that's the case, you go back, attention you. Okay? And I say, okay, I got the message. I come land. And when I landed, I see my detachment commander, leader. Okay, it's a major, Dinh Xin, no, not Dinh Xin Long. His name is Long, but I forgot his full name, but I will remember later. He stand on his, Vespa, the scooter, motorcycle. 1 feet on the ground, 1 foot on the scooter. And he say, what the hell you do, son? I said, doing what? I play dumb, He said, I drinking with the friend of mine in Geelong, at the Chinatown. And I saw you guys fly, right on top of the building. And what are you doing? I said, no, I didn't do anything, it's normal. I lost, Nick is the wingman, and I locate him, and we come back and landing. He said, you come over there and listen to the phone. We go, too many phone in the office. It's ringing, and I don't know which one to pick it up. And I go in there, they have a 2 locks combination, and I still had, kind of lose my cool, open those 2 locks. And coming in, 3 telephone in there. And 1 telephone from the 3rd Division, Biên Hóa, my home base. Another phone belong to the 5th Division. It's the Saigon, Tân Sơn Nhất. The head is General Phan Phong Tiến. My leader at the 3rd Division is 1-star General Xuan Pham. And the 3rd one is for kind of like an operation center, but eventually I found out the messages come from the Air Force security. Okay, 3 phones rang at the same time, and I say I don't know which one to pick up, and Major Long, my detachment commander, say, pick the 3rd Division, first. That is our home base. And I pick it up, and the voice the other side and say, give me the name of the last flight in Saigon, the detachment. And I say, me is the one flight, the last flight. I say, what is your name? I tell my name. And say, what did you do over there? I received a phone call over here. Wow, I asked him first. I say, so who are you, to call me? When he asked my name, he say, General Xuan Pham, commander of the 3rd Division, Biên Hóa. And I said, oh, I'm sorry, General, what's going on? He said, I received the phone call over here. You tried to make a coup d'etat in Saigon with 2 Skyraider, in the airspace of President Palace. Okay? And I say, no way, sir. I think the mistake. He said, but what going on? I say, I lost the radio. I lost, my wingman and the thunderstorm on over the Saigon. I have to looking for my wingman and we're safely landing now, And say, I know it. All of those guys sit in the air conditioner room. They panic so easily. They thought you may coup d'etat over there. So get out of there, okay? Don't do anything crazy over there. And I said, yes, sir. Happily. I look at my detachment leader, and he asked me, so what he said? So what he say? I tell him, the conversation. He say, you damn lucky. He must play mahjong and he win, so he in good mood. If he lose, you in deep shit with him, And now I pick up the second phone, call back and say, somebody called this phone 5 minutes, 10 minutes ago, And the 5th Division, attention you, and say, you got to report to General Thang tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Okay, you the last flight, at the Skyraider detachment, 518. I say, exactly, So the day after, that night, I go home and I smell trouble. I don't think, that's serious, okay? But I smell trouble. So I come and I share that with my eldest brother. A little bit about my eldest brother. Why I bring him in here, in the story, because he's the congressman, and he quite influenced, he very close tie with the President Hill, because he's the one, he's the Secretary General of the Congress, he's the architect for the Democrat Party of President Hill, because every time you put the chief of province, we call, but it's like a equivalent to a governor over here. If you want to put somebody, to be in that position, you're making sure he's the a party member, he had to commit, loyal to the party and that kind of thing. My brother is the architect for that. So he very, I don't say powerful, but influent. A lot of connection, of course. So I go home and I say, I'm making one crazy mistake today. Just because of mischievous, And he said, what mistake, And I tell him the story. And right away, he not sympathize for me. He acting, he kicked the table, he stand up and he chew me out, and walk out of the room and say, all of you, officer, including my brother is the airborne guy, it's so immature, you're the officer and do all the crazy thing, undisciplined, he chew me out and he walk out of the room. I let you, let the government teach you a lesson. That's what he said. He walked out. And the morning after, I had to report security. Well, I report General Thang first. I made that story short because there's nothing exciting about it. He just come and chew me out. It's the normal. He got to know the reason, and I tell him the same story, and like a cassette, rewind and play, And he say, I cite to in your personal record, 15 days for discipline, And I know it's my military career history, with the personal file, like that. Anyway, I report to security, and the Fulbert colonel Again, I forgot his name. He just passed away in Washington, D.C. I attend his funeral, but I forgot his name. I got dementia now. Anyway, I coming in and it's like in the movie. He put his both feet, on the table, smoked a big cigar, blow the smoke, and he talked to me about 10 minutes. And I say, 10 minutes with, standstill position as the young lieutenant report to full-bird colonel is not comfortable with me, okay? But I have no choice. I just stand over there and waiting for open his mouth first. And he finished, his cigar, and he say, tell me, who is your leader? I say, my squadron commander. He say, no. Who is the leader to have conspiracy to make a coup d'etat here? I say, excuse me, I don't understand what you're talking about. I say, what the fuck you did, yesterday at the President Palace? Have you attempted to make a coup d'etat? I say, no way, sir, no way. And I, again, rewind cassette, play the same story, And he say, I still feel uncomfortable until he made this statement. He say, if I don't know your brother is on outside of the president, I beat the shit out of you. Okay? I mean, why are you doing that? I said, no, sir. Again, I stick to the story. And eventually, he say, get out of here, and more than happy salute him and get out of there. I still got, 15 days discipline. I go, well, what do you call that? They have the term in military.
We call it KP.
KP.
You wind up in the kitchen or some terrible duty they give you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. But that is a good memory, and I believe strongly, I'm the only one, crazy and stupid to make a low pass, to the swimming pool next to the President Palace, and they do that crazy thing. But I'm not regret. We're young. We ready, prepare to fly, to fight, and sacrifice, and even ready to die for our country. Somebody after the war, quite a few people, when I worked in civilian company as well as when I joined the National Guard and flew helicopter for Virginia National Guard for 5 years, they keep asking me. One time they say, Xuan, why you lose the war? I said, wait a minute. Excuse me? You say I'm lost the war? Yeah. I said, I'm not lost the war. You guys lost the war. I'm still fighting. How you know, I'm not fighting now, okay? But anyway, you guys think we fight the wrong war. I said, yeah. It is the wrong war. Why? I said, nope. I disagree with you on that. How dare you call it the wrong war when it involved 5 different presidencies, if I don't say 6, okay, of both parties, Democrat and Republican. You count it from Truman, right? Eisenhower, right? Kennedy, right? Johnson, right? Nixon, then 4. 2 parties. And now you dare to say that is the wrong war? If the wrong, something really wrong in Washington, D.C. The sad thing is, as up to now, I tell you, the sad thing is, it seems like we don't learn the lesson. Right after the war, a generation of Colin Powell, generation of Gerald Schwarzkopf, One of those Vietnam, advisors at the time, that generation, yes, they did learn the lesson. Colin Powell as well as Gerald Schwab, they did make, some statement about lesson to learn in Vietnam. For example, they say, if you don't come in, fine. But when you're coming in with a full force, like I play football, play to win, not, thinking about to lose. But then, after that generation, now they start lose it up, a little bit, and Iraq happened, then Afghanistan happened. It's the same shit. I used to joke, I say double D, double S. What is double D, double S? Different day, same shit. I mean, they didn't learn the lesson at all. It's sad. It's very sad. And my philosophy is, tell you true, my philosophy is to be impartial. I'm not belong to any party. Somebody criticize me, fine. When I vote for my leader as the president, I vote for his agenda, his policy. I didn't vote for, who he is, But, in the Vietnam time, I still remember vividly who is the, mastermind, the loss of Vietnam. It's sad. I'm not whining here. I just tell the truth. I don't say the Vietnamese armed forces is the best. No. Okay, they make a lot of mistake. I look back, I see a lot of mistake from Vietnamese side, South Vietnamese side. But the big mistake is made by United States because including the Congress. Okay, I say again, impartial and look back because they they amputate, the Vietnamese people, cut the hand, cut the feet, and force us to die. Here's one of my arguments. I don't know the people will agree. I say, if you really better than the other side, both sides fighting, you can win the war within 5 years. But if it lasts 20 years, that means tick for tack. You don't do anything better than us, okay? The only thing they do, the other side finally, they get what they want because they have the friend very consistent to help them. If we still have a supply from, United States, we're still fighting. However, after 47 years, look back, I don't think we lost country, of course. I become American 100% now. I'm sorry, but to tell you, the test, I know I'm 100% American. The limit test, okay? At 9/11, the day after, when they ring the bell, to remember the name of people, and we listen to the song, we are American, and I look around my family, because everybody's family is so intense, keep, look at the TV after a couple of days after 9/11, and we see on the family member, their eyes wet. And I talk to my wife, I say, we are 100%. That is, when we talk back about Vietnam, as we talk, of course we have opinion about it, but I don't mean, I'm not negative, we are the same country now, but it's sad, I see it go, it changed, but it changed from good to bad. Okay, society in more chaos. As we're not proud of our American anymore. Why? And then that is sad. And I remember one statement Abraham Lincoln made, and I'm worried. I'm really, really worried when I remember what he made a statement. He said, United States, it's not word by word. I don't remember exactly, but he said, United States is so powerful country. Nobody, no country on earth can defeat the United States. The only people can defeat the United States from inside, internally. And I see that going there. That keep going on. Talking about that, we're talking about for years, still talking. But no learning lesson. People keep talking both sides of their mouth and say, history repeat, that kind of thing. Yeah, repeat. Then you have to learn the lesson. And then, you learn the lesson for a couple of years, and you go back, it's like a pendulum. You drift back to the wrong way, so I hope, we can live with our hope. But to sum up, if somebody asks me how I feel after 47 years and grow up, I'm still grow, when I come to the United States. And I say, I'm so lucky. I have a beautiful life. If I look back, it's full of love and endeavor. If I talk to my children, I will say I'm satisfied with my life because I live the life what I intend to be a fighter pilot, particularly A-1 Skyraider. A lot of people don't like it, but I love it, okay, and I feel proud about it. It helped me to mold me to become a good individual. Every time, especially when I went through college, do a lot of crazy thing, with my company. To a certain down point, I almost give up. And, the Vietnam War taught me a lesson. Say, don't give up. Don't give up. Keep, it's not that easy, to give up. It's like a pendulum. You drift back to the wrong way, so I hope, we can live with our hope. But to sum up, if somebody asks me how I feel after 47 years and grow up, I'm still grow, when I come to the United States. And I say, I'm so lucky. I have a beautiful life. If I look back, it's full of love and endeavor. If I talk to my children, I would say I'm satisfied with my life because, I live the life what I intend to be a fighter pilot. Particularly A-1 Skyraider. A lot of people don't like it, but I love it, okay? And I feel proud about it. It helped me to mold me to become a good individual. Every time, especially when I went through college, do a lot of crazy thing, with my company. To a certain bow point, I almost give up. And, the Vietnam War taught me a lesson. Say, don't give up. Don't give up. Keep, it's not that easy. You have to give up.
When we were talking, you mentioned the difference between a leader and a manager. And I know that that was more in your corporate life, but it played into what a true leader is in the military sense. Could you tell it again what the difference between a leader and a manager is?
Yes, it's when the company, my Philip Morris company, sent me through the CLI in New York, they call Center of Leadership Identification. That is a program during the World War II. The German army used that, to spot, identify the future potential leader. That's what they call Center of Leadership Identification. Then after the World War II, AT&T is the first company adopt that for their employee and company business. And then after AT&T is Philip Morris. And the first days to come into training, they instructed or facilitated, I call, as honors. And say, all of you is the leader, the group leader. I mean, all of you is a group leader, manager, those functions to work to build this company. Let me ask you, what is the difference between the manager and the leader? And of course, all of us have the good way, to explain, describe it. But he said, no, all of you say is not, wrong. But it's too long, confuse the people. Let me share with you what is the difference between the manager and the leader. The manager do the thing right, and the leader do the right thing. And it's amazing, when I hear that. Well, I asked, him, I say, can you elaborate a little bit, clear the mud for me, understand the subject, better. And he threw it out an example. He said, you work for a company. If your subordinate go on business trip to have a dinner, $31, you come back and fill out the travel expense. You, as the manager, you cannot, sign that expense statement because the company policy just allow dinner $30, but it's $31. But if you are the leader, you ask the guy submit that travel expense, still put $30 to comply with the policy, and you pull it out your wallet and give him an extra $1. He happy, because he didn't lose any money. But you are the leader. But if you're the manager, you just follow the company policy. So that is very powerful. And then I tell you, I learn a lot. I appreciate a lot from Philip Morris. Is the company I have opportunity to work, and they training me. They develop me. To be 3 milestone I went through in my life. I have to say, to learn the martial art when I was in high school, a teenager. Then fly the A-1 Skyraider when I was young, And the third one is I have a chance to work for Philip Morris, and they developed me, And what I have today, I'm not rich, but I a whole lot better off than a lot of people because I'm lucky, to have the country like the United States. People still complain, but look back,
Would you have ever been able to grow to this level if you had stayed in Vietnam?
It's a good question, because sometimes I blame or I criticize like a General Key or, a lot of leader in Vietnam. But to be fair, as I say, my philosophy or principle is to be impartial. Okay, that's why I'm not belong to any party. You look back, and I say, I'm lucky to be in the United States. So now I look back and I see the grind wrong, and that kind of thing. Even it's not perfect in the last 10 years. So, it disappointed me a lot. But, there's still if I think if I'm staying in Vietnam, maybe I'm one of them. I don't see the right and wrong. I grow up and I still, bad like them. But because I'm in the United States, I changed quite a bit. I opened my mind, learned. Well, of course, the American society has learned something good about Asian culture. Yeah, Asian people are like me, a correction. I'm still American now. I still, the Asians still have to learn a lot from the United States,
When we were discussing last night, you were telling me about a moment where your son came in and questioned you and your brother about speaking about the past. Several times you've talked about the rearview mirror, looking in the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
Could you bring that into play? Because I thought that was for your brother, it was a very profound statement.
Yes, I agree with you, because he surprised me too. My eldest brother is the congressman, the one that get me out of trouble a lot. He come into Richmond and visit me, and he rent a car, and in the evening, brother, we have a chance to sit down, drink. At the time, he drink beer, I drink wine, and we chat, and we talking about the good old days, when grandmom doing this, grandfather, dad doing that, and my son, a teenager, he come and whisper to me and say, why I keep hear both of you talking about the past? I never heard a single story you discuss about the future. And even he whispered with me, but my brother here, and he say, nephew, but he say, young man, he say, come over here, and he hold the rent car key. He say, I know you love to drive the car, I let you borrow my car to go out tonight, if you, with one condition, if you remove the rear mirror of my car and drive the car, then I let you borrow my car. Because you know that how uncomfortable when you drive the car without the rear mirror. You want to move forward, you have to look backward. You keep moving forward, look backward, to doing that. So that is the reason, I'm talking with your dad now. It's about the past, it's a good old day, But that hit me. And I never forgot that. It's the same thing as my brother-in-law is one of the scientists, work for pharmaceutical company in Chicago. And here what he says, I see it happen in the United States. I learned a lot. He say, every time you think you are right and you know a lot, just imagine you are standing right in front of the library, look into the library, then ask yourself how much you know, and that has hit me too, I say. In life, I raise my children, in the same way. I say the number one to be impartial. Don't let politics, influence you, because when you bias, you're not clear anymore. You don't have a clear mind. Whoever do a good for this country, I support. He or she, I don't care. But, I support it. But who destroyed this country, I'm the one who will ask him or her to pay the price first. Because, life is, it's grown up, getting old. We're getting old wiser. It's not getting old, just get older. So I appreciate a lot about this country. I live over here. Some friend of mine in Vietnam say, you're the American. I said, yes, I am. Because I come to this country when I was 27 years old. And now I'm 74 years old. You see the years I live in the United States more than the year I live in Vietnam. Why I'm not become an American, and do something like that. And well, life going on. And yes, people keep saying, when we lost country, we lost everything. I disagree with that. I say nothing for nothing. Okay. The Vietnam still, taught us a lot of lessons to do every day. So
we talked about that when the refugees came here, and we were chatting about one of your other fellow pilots had said, "Give us time; there will be a payback." And you and I were discussing that last night.
Yeah.
Can you briefly wrap up with that?
Yeah, real quick. The lady, she's a lady now. She getting old. Name is Dương Nguyệt Ánh. She's the one. Pentagon and U.S. government give her the award because she designed the thermal bomb, in the Afghanistan, war. She worked for Navy. Is the island in Maryland to develop that bomb. She's not my classmate. Her major is the chemical engineer. My major is the mechanical engineer. She's chemical, I'm mechanical. We know each other very well. Okay, I have some connection in family too, but she's they call her a scientist, decide that. And when George Will, U.S. War and New Report, the magazine, I don't think it exists now. It's already discontinued. But George Will is a scholar, to interview her and said, appreciate what she contributed to the American society. And she said, when I first come, when I first come, I try to pay back what I own, the American, there's a country and society. But I need time to pay back. Give me time to pay back. And she says a lot of Vietnamese young generation now become 1-star general, 2-star general, to be a captain of the destroyer. She say our younger generation not just pay back, but we also pay the dividend for that. This is a very good way, to communicate. And our younger generation, we happy, proud to pay back, what American did, save us, Okay, appreciate. All right.